I don't remember. And that's the idea, that nobody does. As I say, students and research assistants pay their dues doing anonymous grunt work and ghostwriting for established authorities, myself included. In exchange, the students receive valuable insight and experience.
But no exposure. Isn't that a little sleazy, Professor?
It's the reality of academics, Ms. Seidel. Call it sleazy or expedient. Either way, you'll find it's not uncommon for an archaeologist to author a study on a site he's never even visited. Not to my memory. I rarely get off campus, let alone perform first-hand inspections. On the occasions when I am on site, well, I spend most of my time in the office trailer where I keep all records.
So you're sure you haven't been to the site?
Quite positive. But I'm starting to find the direction of this questioning quite distressing. Can we please keep it to the archaeological facts of this site? At the university in a lot near the archaeology building. But that is part of my private domain, and I must insist that you not go poking around anywhere there unless your business is official.
You may see me come around to do a little digging of my own at that, Professor, and I won't send an intern. That's all we need right now.
Need something? I get suspicious about guys with selective memories, and the prof hiding behind nameless students doesn't make it for me. Professor Montana doesn't want to talk straight up. Maybe his trailer will be a little more forthcoming.
Nobody here. Hope Professor Montana hasn't left for another state. This shovel got dented hitting something. Or someone. Real hard. Blood on it, too. These two carpet samples look slightly different to you? Always suspicious when somebody replaces their carpet. Hard to tell just from looking at it how long ago it was installed. We'll need to lift one good sample from both sides of this seam. Try something similar. Looks like enough dirt on the tire to pull a tread. Some substance up here. Been dried up for a while.
Hey. Good blood sample, but it was pretty old. How old? Wasn't able to figure that out. Years for sure. Thermocycled and graphed the DNA for you. I thermocycled the DNA from the blood. Not human. Best guess? Coyote. I've put that into the image enhancement and microscopy equipment for you. The image enhancement and microscopy equipment is where that's going. That tire tread is now in the computer for you. It's egg yolk from a red-breasted nuthatch. Rare to find them around these parts, but not unheard of.
Those two, not a match. Here's our break. Fiber under Freddy's fingernail matches. Greg says the new carpet was installed around 2 years ago, about when Freddy vanished. You know a real good reason to replace a carpet? Bloody murder. Tire types matching key characteristics and dimensions. That's a nice spin. Okay, so the blood belongs to our Vic. Still, that doesn't tell us exactly how the stuff ended up in the trailer. I think we found ourselves an important reason to pick this up now.
What's up? It's pretty hard to tell much from a nest alone, since birds of a feather don't always flock together. But speaking of feathers, I did find some in this nest, courtesy of a red-breasted nuthatch.
Egg yolk came from a red-breasted nuthatch. Could the professor's trailer have once been parked near the dig site?
Again, I know little of this physical plane. I read signs from the other side. But I can tell you this. You cannot always believe what you read, whether it be a Ouija board's message or words fashioned by flesh and blood hand. How fascinating that your investigations on the physical plane have taught you what I instinctively knew. There are many paths to heaven and to knowledge.
With all due respect, madam, we're not here for reading, seance, or any kind of show. How about you drop the act and stick to the facts?
You threaten me? After I have shared my insights?
Psychics have been known to help the police, and I respect the scientific study of extrasensory perception, but phony psychics have sometimes shared insights from the other side, inside knowledge of a crime.
These are outlandish implications. You had best watch your words, young lady. The media would not smile upon the police harassing a good citizen who stepped forward to help.
You know, I tested high for ESP in college, and I'm getting a picture of your future. It's a little gray room with bars on the windows. Now, did you know Eddie Sloan or not? And did you have a grudge against him?
My energies are ebbing. Visions such as I described to you are taxing. I have nothing more to share with you.
That's all we need right now.
Yes?
Nice catch. This curio is just heavy enough to cause some real damage.
Unofficial assessment of this relic, a post-Qing dynasty piece.
Pretty old, huh?
Best guess, around 1998. Made in the USA, too. Oh, for future reference, post-Qing is anything after 1911.
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind, Greg.
Here's something for the plus side. There was enough blood on the statue to amplify an output to the computer for DNA analysis.
Think any of these are a match? I'm not too sure.
Something you want? The damage was definitely caused by blunt force trauma. The statue is one possible weapon, especially if the impact was from one of the narrower parts on the figure.
A loose thread from the carpet.
Hey, Fiber sample. I've prepped it for the microscope.
The details just don't line up, though. That's close, but not quite a match. But you knew...
Here are your options. A, chemistry lesson, or B, detailed organic breakdown.
How about C? Simple layman's terms.
C4H10, N-butane, more commonly known as lighter fluid, fast burning and easy to use.
Found that in the soil near the grave. Could have leached into the ground, or maybe somebody at a barbecue nearby. Although another more likely explanation is somebody had a little bonfire to destroy evidence, doing their best to cover up our Vic's identity. Someone who doused the victim's clothing and personal effects in lighter fluid could have easily spilled some.
Say, didn't you...
Find lighter fluid at Madame Lazora's den. Yeah.
How did you know I was gonna...
Just psychic, I guess.
What a ridiculous and insulting assertion.
Then maybe you can explain why you keep so much lighter fluid around. We found the same substance near the victim's remains, but no clothes or personal effects, as if someone had destroyed that evidence.
And if you are suggesting that I aided the murderer in destroying evidence, I would remind you that Madame Lazora is a source of positive energy on various planes.
Let's keep it down to earth, shall we? What are you holding back? Is it something to do with those soap carvings?
You are a detective. Your mind is keen, so I won't insult you with mere facts. Interpret these simple but profound insights. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. To some, this may be costly to learn, while for others there may be much to earn. To our late departed victim, both of these pertain.
Did Eddie Sloan check in from the other side to tell you that?
As I have indicated, Eddie has not directly spoken to me as yet. He chooses to speak in images, in riddles. All I can do is but pass these on to you in a spirit of positive energy. Eddie?
No, Dale. Dale Edison.
Names are earthly constraints. There are many ways to know a person. First, you must think of Eddie. Eddie Sloan.
Lady, I really don't have time to play these games. We have a murder on our hands and a construction site that... Eddie Sloan. Eddie Sloan. Dale Edison. Rearrange letters and... So that's your game. Anagrams. Dale Edison could be another Eddie Sloan alias. So he's the one behind the soap carving scam.
The veil before your eyes begins to lift. There is hope for you yet, my literal young friend.
That's all we need right now.
Yeah? What do you need, guys? Aliases are tricky to prove, but we'll check the files and maybe make some inferences. Dale Edison. Okay, here are some business dealings on record, starting in about the same time Mr. Sloan blew into town. And isn't this interesting? The record screeched to a stop about 2 years ago. Could be a coincidence, of course. Still, this looks like a lead to me. Looks like Mr. Kilbourne, already down on his luck, got badly scammed by the late Eddie. Bad enough for murder? Worth talking to him about, anyway.
You people were messing around in my space while I was gone. Don't think I don't know it. Nothing gets past me.
We had a warrant, Mr. Kilbourne. And all we need now is a little cooperation, and you can get back to your... castle.
Hey, I may be down on my luck, but that don't mean my grooming has to go to crap, right?
I don't think that soap is strictly for cleanup, though somebody did use it to clean up, didn't they, Mr. Kilbourne? At your expense?
I already told you. I made some financial blunders over the last few years. Some of them I don't care to talk about. Might make me look a little, well, foolish. Huh? Who? What, that light bulb guy?
Mr. Kilborn, we are well aware that you were victimized by the soap scam.
Listen, I'm talented. My art could sell. It really could. I always been trying to make it, you know, creatively. And with the money I got along with the land I inherited, I was able to try different things. So maybe soap sculpture ain't the next pet rock. Something else will come along.
I'm sure it will. And I'm sure you hope your next opportunity comes from someone more trustworthy than Dale Edison. Or should I call him Freddie Sloan? Either way, you were bilked out of a good deal of money. I can see why you'd want to kill him.
If getting bilked by Freddy makes me a suspect, you better give me a number and I'll get in line. Half this town's been scammed by that con man. He was the real artist, preying on people's hopes and dreams. He worked in lies like Rembrandt worked in oil. So get out your bullhorn, go up and down the strip and round up those suspects. No way. I paid for a formal assessment before I sold that property. Legit all the way. End of story.
Who did the assessment for you?
You know, it's true.
What is?
Drinking costs you brain cells. Only been 2 years, but a lot of booze under the bridge, you know? Details like you're asking for. They went away a long, long time ago. Longer you keep the plane in the air, more luggage you gotta throw overboard. Dick?
How's your memory where that hand axe is concerned?
Piece of junk I found on my property. Looked kinda interesting, so I picked it up. Hell, this is years ago.
Really? It's Paiute, you know.
Greek to me, little lady. Blood? What the hell are you... Oh yeah, I remember. I had that statue on a high shelf and I was cleaning. You know, reaching up with the dust rag. Damn thing clonked me on the noggin. I tend to bleed when that happens. Is that illegal?
Then you wouldn't mind if we took a DNA sample, would you?
I don't suppose there's any money in it for me if I say yes, is there? Hell, go ahead. What choice do I have? I don't have anything else to say to you people.
What's up? That DNA's been amplified and graphed. It's in the computer.
Kilborn's DNA is on the statue, so his story checks out far as it goes. Strange little things. Waxy substance. Soap. Wouldn't exactly call these art.
As if you haven't embarrassed me enough, you bring up that ludicrous debacle. You would think an educated person like myself would see through a pitiful scam of that nature. But they flattered me. Played to my own vanity. Desires to express my own creativity, and they made a fool of me. And plucked my bank account at the same time. The effort and money I put into that worthless nonsense.
Did you ever look into the company? Perhaps to find out who was running it?
Soap sculptures? No. Eventually, as my grand sculptures were rejected, I began to get the drift of the scam. Just chalked it up to a learning experience. Even a professor can learn. Never gave it a second thought once I figured out what the scoundrels were up to.
That's all we need right now.
What's up? Freddy's blood in the trailer matched the carpet fiber, and the killer baseball bat found on the property our Mr. Montana lied about having visited. Add to this the prof getting lathered by Freddy in the soap scam, and even an unfriendly judge would give us a warrant on this one.
How many times must we go over this? I've explained the nature of my work with grad students. I just signed off on legwork my researchers did. Next.
Then you must have loaned your watch to a student because we found it at the site. It was found by the construction crew. The murder weapon, a baseball bat, that was in the same box as your watch.
I don't know how my watch got out to that site. And I've never owned a baseball bat. I detest all sports. If you were my research assistant, young lady, we'd have a long talk about your investigative methods.
After which, you would take credit for my work, right?
The same time I found out I'm only one of his victims. These implications of yours operate off wild assumptions.
Let's try a not-so-wild one then. When you were accessing the site, personally, you ran across a few Paiute artifacts, just trinkets, nothing too spectacular. You seized your opportunity, luring Freddy to a meeting on false pretenses. A big order of supplies, perhaps. Instead, you confronted him, demanding your money back, but Freddy refused. Enraged, you smashed him in the face, killing him. You buried him out at the property, making him part of the site, hoping it might be confused as part of an Indian burial, should the grave ever be discovered. All it took afterward was a simple falsification of the report to deflect any immediate attention to the site. Why would anyone suspect a professor of faking a report that would only make him look bad? After the body was literally turned up, you quickly reported to the site as a volunteer archaeologist eager to help. Actually, eager to further throw us off the scent.
You paint a vivid picture, Ms. Seidel, but your assumptions have led you astray. You're fashioning a theory out of hearsay and conjecture. If I were your teacher, you must have someone who plays that role in your professional life. I'd suggest you look for real evidence.
Funny you should bring that up.
What? Blood? No, that's impossible.
Freddy's blood was all over your trailer. Analysis shows that blood was spilled 2 years ago, right when Freddy disappeared. Satisfy your requirement for evidence, Professor? Still think I'm operating out of hearsay and conjecture? The victim's blood in your trailer. Or did your grad students get together and do that for you, too?
Miss Seidel, I can indeed understand how it is you've come to this conclusion, but I do have an explanation. I really do.
Well, I'd love to hear it.
That wasn't even my trailer 2 years ago.
Not your... trailer?
Adam Kilborn gave it to me. Actually, in barter. In exchange for falsifying that land claim. It may seem like a petty matter to you, but a trailer like that is worth considerable money and was perfect for my purposes, both at school and in the field. Such a petty crime to come back to haunt me in so big a way.
You expect me to believe that, Professor?
Miss Seidel, you're a scientist. I don't expect you to believe it, but I do expect you to check it out. I had nothing to do with his death or his burial.
That's all we need right now.
Sure, let's get your suspect back in here.
Now why the hell would I do that? I'm tired of you idiots guessing about this and harassing me about that.
Yeah, we have his admission about falsifying the land assessment in exchange for your trailer. You remember your trailer, Mr. Kilborn? Where you killed Freddy for conning you in the soap sculpture racket?
You think I killed a guy over an art school? Right. You're really getting creative now.
You have had various financial failures in your time, Mr. Kilborn. But the soap sculpture scam, which preyed upon your ego, that was the last straw, the final indignity. What was left of your life savings had gone into what you thought would be a new life as an artist, only it was just another washout. A joke you were the butt of. So you get Freddy to join you at your trailer, and you take out your frustrations on his face. A quick burial and a bonfire with his personal effects, and you were done. But you knew your land had historical significance, which would make it worthless for development, so you worked your trailer trade with the lazy professor in exchange for a fabricated report. You would eliminate Freddy and any remaining debt to him, dispose of the body, and elevate the value of your land for future sale, all in one fell swoop. Your life savings were gone, but at least you'd end up with something. And you'd give the crime scene to Montana as his parting gift.
You're guessing, young lady. You're spinning this out of whole cloth.
Not whole cloth, though a little carpet fiber's involved. You tore the carpet out and put in a new one after the murder, which took place when the trailer was still on your property. And Mr. Kilbourne, the blood on the walls? Scrub as you might, it still comes back to haunt you. We even have the baseball bat you slammed Freddy with. Some of his shattered glasses are stuck in the wood.
Right now, I should probably call a lawyer. Don't you think? But you know what? I'm gonna cop. Right now. To the whole thing. You know why? I was nothing but a loser. Another loser in Vegas till that body in the desert turned up. Now I'm gonna be a winner.
How do you figure that, Mr. Kilbourne?
That sleazoid creep bilked so many people. And when word gets out that I killed that leech, I'll be a hero. They'll build a statue to me. And I'll make you a prediction without a crystal ball. The leeches will crawl out of the woodwork and try and build themselves up over what I did. But I'm the one. The one to rid the world of that cancer. You see, I tried to go after Freddy with the law at first. Not a damn baseball bat. I gathered together the suckers Freddy took in the soap sculpture scam, and we were gonna have a class action lawsuit. Only Freddy had protected himself with limited liability and such. Point is, the great psychic Lazora was one of us. Just another victim of that scam artist, too.
Small piece of advice, Mr. Kilbourne? Since you're a hero and all,
Yeah? What?
they have soap in prison too. Don't bend over in the shower to pick it up.
Psychics have been known to help police forces all over the world. We should maintain an open mind and a little healthy skepticism. Now I'll predict the future. You'll crack your next case by listening to the evidence.